This is part 3 of my ultimate inventory sorter. If you have not seen the demonstration or the basics, please go back and check those out first, as this will be a little bit confusing to you. I have decided to separate this final section into two pieces. It was just a little bit longer than I wanted. The first section is going to be on the start and finish of the inventory sorter, and the second section will be on tips and tricks to help it run more effectively and to work better over a long-term use. Now, to explain the beginning of the system, I'm going to actually break it into two parts because it is two parts. They're just stacked together. It kind of breaks right along here. So we're going to look at the individual components of it. Let's just start with where you put the items in. This is a system I set up to make it so that you can turn on and off whether the items are dropping in. So if you flick this on, it will turn this hopper so that it will not be able to accept items. So like if I throw all these snowballs in, they are not falling into the hopper. Once you turn this off, however, they are able to drop through the system, as you can see. Turn it off for a moment though and put the rest of them back up here because I wanted to demonstrate a few other things. So the way this system works is if there are items in this chest, the system will not run unless there are items in this chest here. This comparator will turn on, and with anything in there at all, it will go one space, one block. So that is enough to turn this torch off. This torch was turning off this system. This section right here is a repeating circuit set to 4 ticks, well 5 I guess with the torch there. So it will continue to send a signal around and around and around here, which you can see by if I turn this. It sends a signal around this little loop here, and then this section sends a pulse. And the pulse is just long enough so that this torch down here, let me throw some more back up in there so you can see it working again, is just long enough for one item to drop through this system. So it's just long enough so that the item drops from the chest all the way down to here. Once the system is done with all the items, all 16 of them are down there, there's none more left in the hopper and none in the chest. So that is the beginning component of the system. This lamp is just to let me know when the system's running, because this torch will continue to blink if that's going on. The other part of the beginning of the system, the lower half of it, as you see here, is what we are using to sort out items that are not stackable. So all of your items like books, armor, tools, weapons, all those items that do not stack will be sorted out first, because the typical sorting system that I have that works for the rest of it cannot sort items that are not stackable, and I don't know that there is any way to do that other than to just stack them all together. But at least you will have your weapons and your armor that you throw out at the beginning, so they won't be stacked with the rest of the items that are not chosen to be sorted out. But the way this one works is, as an item goes into the top here, and they will go through one at a time, when it gets down to this hopper right here, this comparator turns on, and this is all the items will go through this. So if the item is a non-stackable item, the signal will travel more than one space, more than one block. If it's a stackable item, it doesn't fill up enough of the hopper to to travel more than one block. So how that works in our favor is that every item that drops in will activate this and will turn off this torch and will unpower this block, and it will drop down. But there's enough of a delay that if the item is a item that is not stackable, the signal will get 2 blocks, will turn off this torch, will unpower this block right here, and before the block down here is unpowered, this one will be unpowered, and the item will move over here, and then it will enter into these chests and be sent through the system. However, if it is an item that cannot that does stack, this block will not be unpowered, and the item will go down through to the bottom one. So it will travel all the way through, and then will end up being inside this hopper right here. Points to this dropper. Hoppers and droppers, too similar, too confusing to talk about. I get myself mixed up as I try and talk about them. But anyways, this dropper, all the items will end up in this dropper, and then they can enter the rest of the system using these tileable units. Next, I will demonstrate for you the end of the system, which is not really that complicated. The only thing that you will see different on this one is that rather than having a dropper at the end, where the dropper would be, you would just place a hopper that will all be pointing over to chests at the end here, where all of your remainder of your items will be stacked. And this is just a demonstration of how you might put several of them together in order to get a system that goes all the way down to the bottom, to accommodate for all of your many items that you do not want to sort. And here's another demonstration of something you might do at the end. And you can also do these along the way. As you see, I have several different ways of doing them over there. But that is the end of the system. And also this little extra pink piece here really isn't necessary. It's just, I put a comparator here just to tell me as pieces go through the system, so that this block right here will blink and just let me know that things are going in there. It's really not a necessary part of it. Please check out part 4 of my Ultimate Inventory Sorter, and really and truly, this is part 4 should be the last one, I hope. But I'm pretty sure it is.